Hey everybody, the Banga's here. Just thought I'd take a few minutes of my life to do my first vlog. I apologize I've been away for a good while. I've had some time home back on the Northern Peninsula and I've been working a good bit, so I haven't had a lot of time to do some videos and Let's Plays. Like, I've picked up some time recently, but back then I was just pretty busy. Back home when I was gone, I went to a wedding. It was alright, but you know, a party tends to suck when it's pretty much dominated by minors who want you to buy them liquor. That kind of sucked the party out of it, so didn't have that much of a good time. Also, when I was gone for a good while, I decided to bring my Nintendo DS with me, and I played Final Fantasy VI Advance for the Game Boy Advance because I don't have a Game Boy Advance. I only got one DS game that I don't even play anymore, Pokemon Diamond. Final Fantasy VI Advance is probably one of the best ports of Final Fantasy VI ever made. It doesn't have the cinematics that the PlayStation version does, but the gameplay is still really, really good. Like, if you get a chance, you should really consider buying it or downloading it off an emulator, which is pretty good. Like, I prefer playing it with the cartridge, so yeah, you might as well give that a try. While I was playing it, I was at their bonus dungeon, you know, the Dragon's Den. Holy shit. That dungeon will fucking rape you so many times. It's unbelievable. Like, the monsters there that make their debut in the Dragon's Den are really hard. Except for the Zervins, which is probably demonic for a fucking gay gargoyle because it's pink and it only casts magic on you, which will not hurt you if you have good magic resistance, but if you don't, expect to take well over 1,000 points of damage per hit. But if you're running low on magic, you know, just cast Osmos on it and you should have no problem. In fact, if you drain it completely of its magic and use Bite with Osmos or a Rasp and it starts to cast Reflect on itself, it dies instantly if it doesn't have enough magic power points to do it. The Vilias there will give you more of a problem. They look like female bartenders in white or gray dresses for some reason. And I'll tell you why they're hard. You cannot physically attack them. Otherwise, they will cast Overture on you and cause the person who attacked her, to defend her from any other physical attacks. However, if you use like physical attacks such as blitzes and tools and Bushido attacks, or you're throwing a weapon, you would have no problem there. You'll bypass the thing altogether. The Dragon's Den requires you to split your team into 3 groups, same as the Phoenix Cave and Kefka's Lair. So no surprise there. That means the dungeon's going to be really, really huge. Like, oh my god, that thing will fucking murder you if you don't know what to do. I'd say that dungeon could probably take you like 20 to 30 minutes if you had a map. But if you don't, you're gonna be so lost. It's unbelievable. And it gets worse if you don't have the seals broken. And I'll tell you more about them seals later. But the dungeons there is really tricky. You'll get lost really fast. You'll have a lot of tough enemy encounters. Some monsters you'll encounter from Kefka's Lair, such as the Great Behemoth and the Primeval Dragon, which is the Brontosaur in Final Fantasy III. And those enemies are easier because you probably faced them before. Knowing you definitely had to be in Kefka's Lair before to even get to the Dragon's Den, because you need to kill the 2 dragons in Kefka's Lair, like the Gold Dragon and the Skull Dragon. Because you cannot go to the Dragon's Den unless you beat the 8 dragons. And around this time, the 8 dragons are easy if you get to around level 40 or 50, because they have basic attack patterns, like they use magic pertaining to their element. For example, the gold dragon will likely cast Thundaga on you a lot, or Shockwave, because it's a thunder dragon basically. I don't know why they didn't call the dragon Thunder Dragon. I don't know. Like, they called the blue dragon instead of Water Dragon for some reason. But you know what? I'm not going to complain about that. That's none of my business. Square Enix came up with the names. They did a good job. Plain and simple. Like, the game is kick-ass. Trust me. You will face the 8 dragons in the Dragon's Den again. But you were thinking, Bangaa, if I've faced them before, I beat them no problem. Like, how can they be harder? They're a lot harder! And I will tell you why. Because not only do the dragons have higher levels, more health, and can do more damage, they have certain gimmicks to the battles. For example, the Earth Dragon now has an attack pattern where he will cast, I think it's 10,000 or 50,000 Gs on you, which will cause your party, if it's floating, to sink to the ground, like standing on ground. Because normally, if you fought the Earth Dragon in the Opera, in the World of Ruin, you could have cast Float on yourself and be immune to all the Earth attacks. The Earth Dragon can counter that. And not only that, he will cast Magnitude 8 on you, which hurts your entire party, but doesn't do a lot of damage, like if you have good Earth resistance. And then he will cast Quake on you, which does a lot more damage, and heals the Earth Dragon by around 5,000 points of health, which will piss you off if you damaged it a lot. And those 3 things there that I mentioned, the 50,000 Gs, the Magnitude 8, and Quake, he does this on one single turn. He can do 3 actions in a single turn. That pisses you off. This is why I recommend that you get, like, Angel Wing relics. You can buy them in Jador. You know, that same place where you got Realm, provided you rescued Shadow on the floating continent earlier into the game. And the Angel Wings will cast Float on whoever has it equipped, and the 50,000 Gs will not affect it. So you will avoid damage a lot here. But don't think you're out of the woods yet, because the Earth Dragon has powerful physical attacks. And sometimes, instead of casting those 3 actions, he will attack one of your members, and could probably do around 2,000 to 3,000 points of damage on a single hit. Like, holy shit, man. Like, that's some pretty powerful dragon there. He'll hit you that hard. And he also has a special attack called Savage, which will only attack one party member, which is okay. But he does 9,999 points of damage on a single hit, which means instant death. That's right. He has an attack that will kill you instantly, so you might want to consider using re-raise on your party members, or you can just cast Arise on that party member, since he does not attack very frequently. Later into the battle, depending on how much time has passed or how much damage he has took, he will begin to attack physically more often, which means he goes into rage mode. Like, holy shit, that means he's gonna get a lot harder. So I would recommend for your 3 parties, have at least one magic user that has really good magic. And you might want to consider, if that magic user is going into battle with a dragon, equip like the Soul of Thamasa on him or her. More likely her, because Terra, Celeste, Realm, and Strago are probably your best magic users. And 3 out of 4 of them are female, so that's why I said it. The Soul of Thamasa is really useful because it causes you to cast magic twice in the same turn. And if you use one of those turns to cast quick, that means you can